Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to talk about manifesting and the analogy of a briefcase. First of all, look at your briefcase. Before you open your briefcase, there is a 3-digit code that has to be set. Without the correct code, the briefcase will not open. Similarly, when it comes to manifesting what you want to achieve, then you have to set the proper code. Now the code is universal. Before we proceed further, let us discuss a few other things. What is manifest? What do we mean by manifesting? And is it applicable all the time? What are its benefits? What are its disadvantages? What are the prerequisites for manifesting? We will discuss these as we progress during the course of this talk. Now, coming on to the analogy of the briefcase. First of all, you should have the right intention. You should have sincerity of purpose. You should have the right actions. That is, your behavior should be correct. So, three requirements are there. First is right intention, call it number one. You should have sincerity of purpose, call it number two. You should have the right actions, call it number three. So, this is the code of the briefcase. Anything pursued vigorously and with oneness of direction and purpose will also manifest itself. So, this is another thing. When this code is applied, what you want to manifest takes place. Sometimes it may not take place because the prerequisites are not met. And amongst the prerequisites, what is required, first of all, is that you should be very convinced about what you are trying to do. And secondly, what you want to achieve should not go against the grand scheme of the Creator. That should be there in mind. So sometimes the sesame will open. That is, whatever you want, that will be there for you. This happens most of the time, unless Providence wants to test how you behave when things do not happen the way you want them to happen. So, this is another aspect of the manifesting process, that sometimes your behavior is being tested. That in case what you want does not take place, how do you behave? How do you react? Do you become aggressive? Do you become rebellious? So that has to be also taken into account. So another dimension that you must take into consideration is that you should be an integrated being. You should not be a disintegrated being. There should be no duality in you. You should be straightforward in whatever you profess. So, at the subconscious level, at the conscious level, and at the conscience level, you should be in alignment. One, two, three, and bingo. When the three are on the same frequency, you will get results. So, your subconscious is the id, your conscious is the rational mind, and your conscience is your super ego, or it is that element or the godly element present in every man or woman. Manifest what you want. You may want wellness, you may want health, you may want knowledge, you may want beauty, you may want riches, but keep the code in mind. And what is the code? Your intention should be honest, you should be sincere, and your demonstrated action or behavior should show that there is no duality in you. You should be confident of the outcome. So that these things have to be kept in mind, because if you are not confident of the outcome and you want to manifest something in your life, you will end up a broken man instead of a confident individual. The opening of the portal. So again, you see, the principle of alignment has to be kept in mind. And remember that manifesting is both a mental process, but at its apex, it is a spiritual action. When thoughts, feelings, and action are in alignment, the portal opens. But if you are a divided personality bordering on schizophrenia, then you can't manifest anything in life. First of all, you have to straighten yourself. Sometimes it so happens that people want to manifest certain things in their life. They want that their dreams should come true. They should get some access to power, etc. Then they fall back on Vazaif. Vazaif is once you start chanting the name of God with a view to achieving certain ends. But in many cases, once the basic prerequisites are not met, then people go, the opposite happens. Whatever you want, because you're demanding something from God, God doesn't listen to an arrogant person. God only listens to a person who has humility. And if you try to demand something from God, this means you are being arrogant. And the people keep on reciting their wazaif, thinking that this way they will achieve. No, you can't bend God to your will. You have to be subservient to his commands. In such cases, people lose their sanity and they go mad. So, all manifestation processes do not yield positive results. You have to meet, first of all, the basic prerequisites. Only then you can get something in return. You have to be in alignment with the divine laws. If you go contrary to divine laws, perhaps you may achieve results also because of your willpower. But then that kind of achievement is not in line with what we would like the way we would like things to happen. I'll be talking about this a little more as I progress during the course of my talk. Right, again coming on to the same topic, that is, we have to here distinguish between prayer and manifestation. There are two approaches to manifesting what you want in life or what you want to achieve specifically. Let's say you want to have a house, you want to have good health or something, whatever you want to manifest. Now, there are two ways. One is through prayers. If you want to achieve through prayers, then you have to be humble. You have to be in line with what God wants you to be. You can't demand things from God. You have to, in all earnestness and humility, seek help from God. So that is one way of achieving what you want. And the second is you use your willpower and you remain in alignment with the principles which God wants you to follow. Then again, also you can achieve results, but you have to be humble in the process. So, strong willpower also will give you results. When your intention, your sincerity, and your actions are on one frequency, then this is the time of acceptance of prayer. This is an internal state. And this is what Professor Ahmed Rafiq Akhtar says, आपकी नीयत, आपका इखलास, आपकी कारकर्दगी जब एक फ्रीक्वेंसी पर आ जाएं तो वही कबूलियत दुआ का वक्त। ये बाहर खारिज में नहीं, आपके अंदर है। इसके अलावा कुछ मकामात ऐसे हैं जैसे हरम काबा, जहाँ की फजीलत आपकी दुआ की कबूलियत के लिए सनत है। किसी दुआ के फिल फौर पूरा ना होने में मसलहत यही है कि रब करीम को आपकी मजीद तरबियत मकसूद है, अभी और पुख्तगी चाहिए जनाब के मिजाज ग्रामी में। So this is one side of it. The second is you have a strong willpower and you want to achieve things. So you must not mix up these two approaches. These are two different approaches. One is the approach of prayer, in which you have to be humble, and the other is where you may use your willpower, but you do not cross the limits. You do not demand things from God, but you just work in alignment with the universal principles. Once you are praying to achieve and get the results that you want manifested in your life, then you have to surrender and you have to be humble. But in manifestation, you can use your willpower, but you can still continue to run on the proper path, because like in mysticism and spirituality, there is a difference. In spirituality, you may achieve various feats like the yogis do. They can um, levitate, they can raise their body from the ground, they can um, lie down on nails and so on and so forth. They can hold their breath for a long period of time. But this is not mysticism. Mysticism is basically an act of surrender. Sometimes people who are moving towards mysticism may also traverse spirituality, the path of spirituality, because spirituality is something which negates your sensuality. So, as long as spirituality is negating your sensuality, it is leading you towards mysticism. But once you start, you see, at, doing different things from other people, like holding your breath for a long period of time, or like the yogis levitating from the ground, rising above from the ground. So these are acts which in which you are just trying to see what is your power. This has got nothing to do with mysticism, though I agree that initially perhaps spirituality and mysticism may move in the same path, on the same path, but at a certain juncture, both have to separate, because in one, you are trying to become humble in mysticism, and in spirituality, you're trying to become powerful. So, this difference has to be kept in mind. Thank you very much. God bless you.